May 14th meeting to order. Rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Bankowski. Here. Trustee Dilbert.
Here.
Trustee Guerrero. Here. Trustee Nona.
Here.
Trustee Burkoli.
Here.
Trustee Succi.
Here.
President Lyson.
Here.
Treasurer Nolan Dilbert. Here. And Clerk Whitsett is here.
Approval of the agenda. I have 3 items under new business to add. Number 8, or letter H, like to add set a public hearing for general operating millage. Item number I, set a public hearing for the fire millage. And item number J, MS4 stormwater management notice.
I'll approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the amended agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Public comments on the agenda? Seeing none. Approval of the minutes. Regular meeting minutes for April 9th, 2024.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the regular meeting minutes for April 9th, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the meeting minutes for the special meeting on April 17th, 2024.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the minutes for the special meeting on April 7th, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve of the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the bills, treasurer's report.
Requesting approval of April 2024 payroll in the amount of $108,419.47, and bills to be paid for April 2024 of $532,635.05 for a total of $641,054.52.
I make a motion to approve the payroll and bills to be paid as presented by the treasurer.
With the financial.
For a total of $641,054.52.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Roll call, please.
I have a question on it. Last month, we had an issue with but has that been corrected in this? There's a question I think we had with the figures last month. Has that been resolved in this?
We're confident that the numbers for this month are correct.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure about the previous months. We'll have to go back and look at it.
All right.
Yeah, because we should vote in there.
Any other discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Bankowski.
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero. Yes. Trustee Dilbert.
Yes.
Trustee Nona.
Yes.
Trustee Succi.
Yes.
Trustee Burkoli.
Yes.
President Lyson.
Yes. Treasurer's report.
Total village assets, we have $7,109,645.83.
Make a motion to file the treasurer's report as submitted.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Communications and committee reports. Item number A. Clerk, what's that?
Agenda items for June 11th meeting are due for June 1st, please.
Item number B. Planning Commission report. Trustee Dilbert.
The planning commission met, and the main topic on our agenda was created an ordinance for outdoor dining. So we got a couple samples from some other communities, and the planner is, we had a lot of discussion about the do's and don'ts and what's good, what's bad, what to fit here in the village, and so they're gonna bring back a, hopefully a final draft at the next meeting.
Sorry, go ahead. Parks and Rec report, trustee Guerrero?
Yes, we're just tying up everything for the Red Hot Blue Festival. We also have 3 Tigers games out there. They should be in the calendar hopefully by tonight. I forgot the dates first, so I apologize, but they'll be up on the web.
Do we know, did we actually get the tickets for those 3 Tigers games, or were those just the dates that we requested?
Will I know because of change of hands, or I don't know. I will definitely check into it tomorrow,
Okay.
make sure it's confirmed, but yeah.
I'm not sure. I know Eric was in there along with something the other day, so I'm not sure.
Because he had asked me also. Okay, I'll reach out tomorrow and see what's going on with it.
Okay.
Even if I have to call myself.
Alrighty. Unfinished business, ordinance 404, Macomb County Animal Control Best Practices. This was the ordinance that we had shared last month for public review, and now bringing it back for any comment or adoption. Any questions?
The only question I have is, I know the last time we adopted an animal ordinance, there was some issue with chickens. And we're not changing that, are we?
No, this is more around like best practices of how the animal control is handled through Macomb County.
Well, and I'm a fresh egg buyer, so.
There's a lot of
chickens out there.
There is a lot of chickens.
Yeah, there's a lot of chickens out there.
I don't think.
Okay, so I will make a motion to
No adoptions.
adopt ordinance 404, the Macomb County Animal Control Best Practices.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Bankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yeah.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Pefoli?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
President Mason?
Yes. Item number B, Streets Committee, Category B funding application. Sir Matt, do you want to speak to this?
Yes, thank you. So the street committee met about a couple of weeks ago, and there's a recommendation for next year MDOT grant application for 2025, and the street committee is recommending 2 streets at this time for the board consideration to move forward with the grant application. And these are, as listed in my communication, at Cathy Court and East Cranston. And I had attached
Resolution.
a resolution, thank you, and the engineer's estimate. So if the board or council would like to move forward, please grant your approval, and also the execution of the resolution as required by MDOT.
Any questions?
Just one, it's not a question, it's just to point out that there's a typo on the resolution. It's for $250,000, and the numbers are saying 240.
Well, the total estimate is 480, so half of that is 240.
Right, so
So we're not giving ourselves any wiggle room in there?
There is contingency already built in.
Okay.
So I think just the spell out amount should say 240 then, right?
It should match up.
Yeah. I see that.
Oh, in the wording, yeah, not the numerals.
just to apply for the grant and to do this work if we receive the grant. We're not going to do it if we do not receive it.
We're not obligated to do it if we
Okay.
don't, if we don't get the grant funding.
Do we have a resolution number?
24-006.
006.
6.
So I will make a motion, resolution 24-006 to apply for the grant funding category B for Cranston and Kathy Court. Is that correct?
That's correct.
East Cranston.
East Cranston. It's desperately done.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Malkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Burkholder?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
President Bison?
Yes. New business, Melissa McGarry has given us her letter of intention to retire, effective June 30th, 2024. So just wanted to let everybody know that we do have the retirement letter and asking for a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we receive and file the retirement letter for Melissa McGarry. All in favor?
Question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Question.
So do we have a plan in action? Are we going to replace Melissa? What's the plan?
So we already have the job posted out there.
Okay.
We already have a dozen or so applicants, and we've already started with interviewing process tomorrow.
Okay.
Um,
But we already have a half new hire.
Right,
So
so,
we're taking away 2 jobs and adding 1.5?
so the intention will probably be that the current half new hire will be the full-time replacement for
Okay.
Dawn's position.
Okay.
And then the posting that's out there would be for Melissa's.
Okay.
And then hopefully we can have some overlap there so that Melissa can train the new person as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number B, MML Workers' Compensation Renewal Invoice for 2024-2025. Ms. Casey?
We basically had only like $1,000 increase from last year, even though our payroll went up, but our ratings went down. So our rate per hour went down incrementally on different estimated payroll and stuff like that. But I'm asking for approval of the invoice for $14,596. We also are getting a dividend credit of $9,062. That's what brought it down to the $14,596. Does anybody have any questions about this?
If not, motion is in order.
Our ratings have gone down, so.
Which means we get a better rate.
The ratings on like the street operations went from 636 to like 606. Water operations went up from like 362 to 308. So our rating is going down because we don't have any claims in a long time. I did tweak the street operations a little bit. I put more of payroll into major street funds because we are getting almost 2/3 more money in the major street funds. And so I put 75-25 payroll that way because we were not carrying the local streets, and all our projects are local streets. So that's about the only thing I really tweaked differently than I did last year. If you look at that spreadsheet.
Is it normal, like it looks like it's an increase of about 8% with the ratings going down, is that part of the
We
course?
gotta realize too, we won't be hired
We have
DPW guy. Here we go.
DPW guy, I think we have the additional part-time fire.
And we got seasonals and stuff like that, so our payroll did go up. from 846 to $1 million, so, yeah. So basically, that's not bad. Any more questions?
I'll move to pay the MNL workers' compensation insurance in the amount of $14,596.
Second.
It's been moved and supported that we pay our renewal for MML workers' compensation in the amount of $14,596. Any further questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Fetchie?
Yes.
Trustee Pepoli?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
President Wyson?
Yes. Item number C, OMID Series 2028, Sprint 2024, debt invoice of $17,071.48.
That is our yearly payment now, ever since we had it refinanced back in 2021. Our payment this spring is, for OMED, is $17,071.48. And in the year 2040, we will have it all paid off.
We'll have to pay you that.
I had to bring that up, you know?
That's awful for you.
Yeah, it's all 2040. I'm not gonna be seeing it either, so you know.
That's like 16 years from now.
Wow.
It's pushing it.
There's a goal.
Yeah, that's a goal. Something good came up, promise.
Probably.
It's gonna be a race.
All right. Any further questions for
Step at a time.
I know.
Right now.
All right. Motion in order.
I'll move to pay the Oklahoma Coal Interceptor Drainage District invoice in the amount of $17,071.48.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we pay the OMID Series 2024 debt invoice in the amount of $17,071.48. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Fetchie?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Pepoli?
Yes.
President Wyson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marcus. Item number D, lawnmower purchase.
Good evening. I come to you today to ask for 2 new lawnmowers. Our John Deere lawnmowers were 20 years old. They actually started when I started, and so they have since passed on. So I'm trying to replace them with new mowers. So I went and got 3 quotes. I got one from Zimmer's for Exmark. I got one from Outdoor Equipment for Bad Boys mowers, and one from Ball Equipment for Gravy. My recommendation, after doing my homework, looking at the ins and outs, my recommendation would be to purchase the Exmark mowers. You know, they've been in business for over 30 years. You know, they're proven, and the price is very good after the state pricing. Just to answer that was a big question. It takes off like almost $3,000 for each mower.
Which one did you say, Marcus? I'm sorry.
The Exmark Zimmers. Zimmers, Exmark, Exmark mowers from Zimmers.
Okay, got it.
And with the purchase of these 2 new lawnmowers, this will give you how many mowers total use?
4. Yeah.
So this will allow them to execute and take care of cutting the grass that much quicker, especially now that they have the additional DPW employee.
And also our Gravely, our current Gravely is 10 years old, and our Husqvarna is 6-ish. 6 or 7 years old. So we're just, just a rotation. That's
Yeah, and DPW superintendent told me that the Husqvarna mower has been having some issues. It's not really up to the commercial grade standard that you expect.
there we go. It's a little rough around the edges.
And this bid is for the total amount is for 2 of them, right? Not
Yes.
each.
2. Yeah.
That's not a bad price for Exmark.
No, I was very happy when I saw that. Just the
These are
price
Exmark and not E-Marks or,
No.
Not from Tolu.
Sony.
Yeah, like I said, it took off $3,000 almost off of each mower for the state pricing, the bid, municipal pricing.
First, I will say thank you for getting 3 bids.
Waiting for that.
Oh,
Yes,
Look at that smile on her face.
Yes, very happy about that. So without hesitation, I will say I motion to purchase the two Exmark mowers from Zimmer Sales and Service for $21,918. How long will you have to wait for them?
I talked to the guy today, and I said, this is what I'm going for, what's the turnaround? He said 48 hours will happen.
Perfect,
So,
just in time to cut again.
exactly. I was second the motion.
It's been moved and supported that we purchase the two Exmark lawnmowers from Zimmer Sale and Service in the total amount of $21,918. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Capoli?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
President Bison?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Item number E, AFG FEMA grant with our native Bruce Shelby McComb and City of Utica for fire repairs. Chief Steer?
Good evening. What you have in front of you is a memo of understanding. So basically, tonight we are asking for the president to be able to sign that, for us to enter into the grant. Earlier this year, we went in with a regional grant with those departments listed for new radios. The grant itself is well over $1 million. That's what we applied for. What FEMA gives us will be something different, more than likely. So there's no dollar amount associated with this. It's just the agreement that says that if we do receive this grant, that we will continue the purchase of that grant. It is a matching of 10%. So whatever it is that our portion is, it will be 10%. So this is just an agreement that we can continue to move forward with the grant.
Any questions for the clerk, Chief?
So your ask is an approval and a sign of the memorandum of understanding?
Correct. Yep. It's just so the president can sign that, and I can ship that off to the postal department.
I'll move that we approve the FEMA regional grant and sign the memorandum of understanding.
Support. I will also say thank you for working with other communities to bring cost-saving measures to our community.
You're welcome.
Any other further discussion on the motion? It's been properly moved and supported that we enter into this agreement and with a memo of understanding for the AFG FEMA grant with our native Bruce Shelby McComb and the City of Utica for fire radios. Roll call, please.
Trustee Capoli?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
President Bison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next up, we have item number F, Lions Hall Fire Suppression System. Chief Steer and Superintendent Marcus.
So Marcus and I, over the last month,
Yes.
have worked with multiple different companies to provide us 3 quotes for suppression system of the Lions Hall. Since we are turning the Lions Hall into an assembly, which holds over 100 people, it is required by the fire code to be suppressed. So what you have in front of you are 3 quotes. Marcus and I, after going over all this, and Sandy, we're recommending that the Guardian Automatic Fire Protection Company with the wet and dry system is what we are recommending, along with the Paymar quote for the fire department riser. Basically, they're bringing the pipe from the street into the building. And that is the quote that you have in front of us. We were able to provide you with 2 quotes for the underground, both from Paymar and one from Maricopa contractor. Paymar was the cheaper of the 2, and Guardian is the cheaper of all 3.
The third quote for the underground never got back to me. So I'm sorry.
It's hard. No, it's hard right now for that.
It is. And this is a kind of a specialized type quote to get. Some of them, most of them were kind of like piecemealing it. And, yeah.
We have 2 different quotes here from Guardian.
Yes.
Correct. We're looking at the quote that says the new wet and dry system.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a quote around here. There is not. So the difference between a wet and a dry system is that are the same. The wet system stays in the portion of the building that is heated, and the dry system goes above into the attic where it is not heated. So dry system, there's no water in pipes, for obvious reasons it'll freeze, and then the wet will be within the heated portion of the building.
And ironically, going with the wet and dry system, while it sounds more complicated, it's
It's
also,
cheaper.
it's cheaper.
I guess my only concern is the fact that we haven't formalized and started a remodel on the building. So right now, we're looking at, we're close to $100,000 for this fire protection system. We got a guesstimate of $240,000 for the rehab. Where's all this money coming from?
Yeah, coming from our general fund.
And my question is too, is I mean, I'm looking at these figures and we're coming dangerously close to just building one and it costing about the same.
I don't know if I would go that far. I don't think we'd be able to.
The numbers keep adding up to the point where.
They do keep adding up, but I mean, these are, you know, necessary costs for, you know, if we're wanting to turn this into a community center, you know, a rental facility for the residents. Tried to figure out a way, if there was a way that we could finagle it so that we wouldn't have to do the fire suppression, whether we you know, limit capacity or something like that, but it's just not something that we can legally feasibly do, you know, to try to get around this. So, you know, one of the other things that we have been talking about with this remodel is, so they were, when we were talking about, you know, we identified that this was going to be necessary. The discussion was, well, if we get this done, then we can do the rehab, because we don't want to do the rehab and then have to come back and retrofit this in, and then it'd be, you know, tearing up of walls or, you know, anything like that. So the idea was just to get this done, then we can move with the rehab. We have been going, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we've been going through and getting the quotes for what exactly the, you know, the rehab is going to cost. We had the one that was like an all-in-one quote from a vendor. We're also looking at, you know, what would it cost if we were to kind of break it up, but have it all as one package. That we don't have the general contractor, because having a general contractor is just going to add so much to the amount, you know, they're going to have their cut. Sure. But we are working on getting that pricing as well. Trustee Suchi?
Was there any movement on the idea of that trade program?
Yeah, so we do. Lombardo is 100% invested in the idea of having a construction trade program.
Because that was going to ideally possibly help save some funds on remodeling this, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if it's going to work out for the Lions Club, to be honest. What they're planning on doing, for them to be able to do their trade program, it's a 1 year of schooling of the students so that they know and understand how to use the tools before they let them loose inside an actual construction environment.
Reasonable.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, you know, obviously that's not really our timeline. We don't want to wait that long. This has been lingering a while as it is. It'd be nice to get this wrapped up.
I'm not sure how much of a cost savings there would be anyway, because you'd still be looking at a general contractor, because you can't just send a
Right.
bunch of students out to.
Right, yeah, unless you had like Lombardo's guys helping, teaching them how to do the work with like Marcus's supervision or something like that, or a co-op. I don't know if it would really save. Yes, sir.
What's the magic number that triggers the fire suppression system?
100.
And what is the current?
But it's also the designation, right? So it's considered an assembly. So if we decide to turn it into an office building, we don't do anything. It's because it's an assembly that holds over all.
Says who?
Says what?
Says who?
What?
That it's going to be an assembly.
He says it's going to be a hall.
That's going to be okay. It's gonna be
Says
okay.
who?
The community center. What, just designated as an office unit?
I mean, I'm just asking the question.
Right, that's the direction in which we were given.
You know, because, I mean, we've had some brief discussions about this building and the fact that it's going to expire in 7 years, 8 years. That conceivably could be our new office building. What's the current rated capacity?
160, I believe is it.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. So another thing that determines capacity,
160.
is the walls, right? So we start taking walls down, opening things up, bringing bathrooms bigger, right? Capacity will change from there. So until that actually happens, but we know that the building is just under 3,400 square feet. Just by guessing off of that, if there was no walls in there whatsoever, it would hold 300 and something. Now, that's not including, it is, but it's not, that just means us standing there, right? It doesn't mean chairs and tables, and so once all that stuff gets there, we shoulder to shoulder.
How is capacity determined? Is it
It's
square
determined
footage?
whether or not there's fixed seatings, you know, if there's fixed seats, right?
Okay.
So if there's something that's anchored in that can't be moved, if there's tables, you know, there have to be aisleways and stuff like that, so it determines, you know, what the square footage is, where the walls are and stuff like that, so.
If we were, I mean, even if we were to take it over to be our new municipal office, I mean, we'd still have to have fire suppression for it, right? I mean,
The occupancy load would be under, there would
Yeah.
be,
we have fire suppression here.
the building was over 10,000 square feet.
So I'm kind of hesitant to spend this if we don't have really a plan of what we're going to do with it. If it's not, if it could be a municipal office, if it could be a community center, that we're talking about an $80,000 swing and
I think there's some serious conversations that we've somehow not had, that we need to have so that we can,
Absolutely.
And I agree with you totally too, you keep putting money into it, I mean, much demolish it, build all over new again, you know what I'm saying? You keep putting this money into it, like you were saying. I don't know. I'm just
and those
saying.
are conversations that should have been had before the acquisition of the building. Well, what are we going to do with this?
Right, but it's neither here nor there now.
So
Um,
if we don't put the fire suppression in and we want to be able to rent the building out to people, you cannot rent it at all.
No, ma'am.
Even it, just because of the size of it, regardless of how many people.
No, in that instance, it's the amount of people, not the size of the building.
Okay, so what is the number?
100.
100. So if you have over 100 people, you have to have fire suppression.
Yes.
If it's
So-
capable of holding over 100.
I can't limit it to 50 because it holds.
Yes.
Okay, because I was saying,
160
could
years,
we,
it stands on 160.
right, if we decided, could we
Because
say?
somebody's not going to sit at the door and let people in.
Right, exactly, right. Well, and then that puts, I don't want to put the village under
And that's liability.
liability either.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you could limit it that you can only have it 50 people, but again, who's gonna?
I kind of think even if it is office buildings, don't you really want to have fire suppression in it?
well, yeah, but you still gotta look at the cost, and, I mean, you know, fire suppression, they said we got a $100,000 bill for fire suppression, and we haven't done a remodel yet. And I mean, our remodel numbers, I mean, I haven't seen anything that's, you know, you got the one quote for $240, you know.
Yeah, no, that one did include, I think that included roof, if I remember correctly, which we've taken care of. And it also had some of the demolition costs, which Marcus has taken care of some of that already. But yeah, it is, I mean, it's still, you know, the rehab is gonna be, you know, still some work to be done there.
I think it was generally assumed that it was going to be like some kind of event hall or something like that, so I respect the fact that we got the quotes for it, but without like really knowing the direction of that building yet, this is a tall ask without really knowing what we're doing with it.
Well, I kind of would like to counter the fact of, or the statement that we haven't really had a discussion, because, I mean, from the beginning of purchasing this, it was always with the assumption that this would be our new community center. That was always the discussion.
We
is
were
that
gonna
this
have a
would
splash
be-
pad too, though.
Correct, yeah,
So,
yeah,
this, like I said, not to be negative Nelly, but this is like a splash pad all over the place.
right. Yeah, I mean, you know, we've always planned for this to be a community center, so this was always, we did discuss if there was, if we had to evacuate this building, that we could utilize you know, change that as our new office, but otherwise, the intention has always been that this would be the new community center and the other building would be the senior center.
I would like to see like a cap on what we're willing to spend, and know exactly where those funds are gonna come from.
Or something along the lines of like the splash pad, come up with a comprehensive cost of what this, all the things that we have to do to it, and put it into one package, this is what it's gonna cost to do. Because this is the same thing as a splash pad, we're piecemealing everything. We got that reno, we did the roof, we have this,
Yeah.
parking lot's gonna be separate, like, give me a project with a number, this is what it's gonna cost.
Speaking of parking lot, that parking lot over there is trash.
Right.
So
Both.
we haven't even addressed that.
Yeah, and that's, everything's gonna be piecemealed unless we do that.
Okay, do we want to table this for a future month and we'll go back, get quotes on everything and have a total package?
Yes.
I think at some point in time, this council, while the previous administration acquired a building and assumed it was going to be a community center, was that ever voted on? Is there a motion in place that was in fact
The direction of the building, yeah.
I never think I would.
I would say though that, I mean, us voting on the purchasing of it, with the discussion that it would be a future community center, that would be,
But that was a possibility, because I asked multiple times at this table, what are we going to do with it? What is the plan? And I never got a straight answer. It was never cut and dry community center.
I mean, I think it's high time that we have that discussion, let's formalize what our intent is, and let's start putting together some solid numbers. There are contractors out there that can give us solid numbers, but we need to put it in writing what we want. Because right now, I've yet to see a plan that says we want ADA compliant bathroom, we want,
Fire suppression system.
I've seen none of that. I've heard people talk about it, but that doesn't do anything. It needs to be on paper, so that we're giving you the same thing that I'm giving him. So that we can get these numbers.
Yeah, $150,000 turns into $400,000 in the blink.
right. Ms. Gazel?
On one of the quotes that we got, it wasn't on the whole package, and that's what we're running into right now. Exclusions, data and telephone, decorative lights, no water heaters, signage and graphic, appliances, utility charges, third-party electro inspection, no handrail for bathroom fixtures, fire and safety alarm system, hazardous material abatement, sprinkler systems, parking lot repair. So every time we go in and try to get a whole package, the general contractor is not, we have addition to an exclusions that we're dealing with every time we try to get a cost. So what our goal has been this whole time is get the infrastructure in there and then figure out what we do after that and remodel it to what we need to do. Right now, we're trying to get this building up to code, and that's what we're trying to do today.
Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate because it's, you know, you have a lot of the residents that are constantly reaching out to us that they want to rent the hall because they were able to do so when it was the Lions Club. And unfortunately, while it was under the Lions Club, they were able to get away with a lot of things that we can't. So, you know, they were able to rent it out as an assembly hall without fire suppression just because it was a private, you know, club and, you know, they're able to get away with it.
It was grandfather.
Yeah, grandfather as well.
Yes,
So,
and pop it in.
okay, so let's table this one if everybody's in favor, or maybe have a motion to table it, and we'll get the quotes and come back.
Yeah, just let us know which direction, we're just trying to, you know, do whatever you
Maybe
guys
before
have.
we get quotes, we should maybe have a meeting to talk about and make a decision what the goal and intention is.
Right.
To think
What
about
we
what Chris
want.
is saying, right?
Sure.
Right.
Because there's some finishes, I mean, we can get a quote on just painting the interior, or we can get a quote on,
Do we want,
doing something fancy on the walls or whatever, you know, lighting, the flooring, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things, you know, do we keep the kitchen where it's at? Do we move it? Do we?
right, so we had the Lions Hall committee that had met and had come up with plans on what they were wanting to do, which included the moving of the kitchen over to the club area, that was that club room. If you want, we can have a workshop and everybody meets at the Lions Club and we can go through it and discuss in person.
Does the committee still exist?
I mean, technically it still exists, it was just members of Parks and Rec, council.
I'm just sitting here thinking this sounds like something that could use some kind of a project manager in some way, shape, or form, whether that's a committee or
Right.
whatever, like.
Doesn't need like a champion to.
Sure.
Does anybody want to do that?
Right, well, that's why I guess I'm, you know, a little befuddled because committee that we put together, the committee did come up with recommendations of what they wanted to do. And that's why Casino was brought in to give us a quote. He gave us a quote based off of what the committee's recommendations were.
So
But,
that's in writing somewhere?
His quote.
No, I mean, the committee's recommendations.
No, I was just gonna say, that was just kind of opinions that were gathered there that day.
Yeah.
Nothing was really formalized.
right,
Plus, another thing everyone needs to remember is, I understand the community wants to rent it, but they're not gonna be able to rent it and use it in this fashion as they did the Lions Club. In other words, I don't think they will be allowed to have alcohol there, am I correct, Al?
I don't know that because it depends on a lot of things.
Right.
How you end up making this building and where it's zoned, and
Right.
you can get an alcohol license. You can also get event licenses almost anywhere. And you can get one in your backyard if you want one. So and there's a lot of things to be determined.
right. I mean, yeah, there are probably gonna be some things that they're not gonna be able to use it exactly how it was used previously.
Right.
That's the first statement.
If we need assistance in, like, organizing a committee or organizing this project in general, I'm happy to jump in and help out on it too.
Sure. Sure. All right, how about we set up a workshop at the Lions Club where everybody can, from council can participate that chooses to, and we can also get the previous committee members, let them know.
Do you want to give it now?
Yeah, if we could.
I think that's a good idea.
Does anybody have any preferences?
Tuesday, the 28th.
Tuesday, the 28th?
What about Monday, the 27th?
That's Memorial Day.
Oh, shoot.
I mean, that works.
Actually,
We could have a Memorial Day barbecue at the Lions.
Tuesday the 28th. Tuesday the 28th.
Tuesday, the 28th, does that work for everyone? What time?
29th, I might struggle. 28th, I can for sure.
28th, it doesn't have to be 7 PM if we don't want, or if that works for everybody, we can stick to our normal 7 PM time.
Something's gonna,
7 PM, so,
28 or 29?
28th.
28th, Tuesday.
And it's gonna be at the Lions Hall?
yes.
Yep,
All right, I'll get that posted.
Thank you.
all right. As we all enter into our calendars.
Do it now or else it'll get done.
Yes, this is what true. Alrighty.
Thank you.
Any other comment or discussion on that topic? All right, moving on. Item number G, MOU resolutions.
So in front of you, you have two resolutions from Macomb County for us to enter into the hazmat and the trench rescue, technical rescue agreement with the county. Currently, we do not have an agreement with the county. We are one of 4 departments that do not. This all started with our recent hazard mitigation plan that is up in 2025. So our emergency management team, with the president, are working on some things. And this agreement came up where if we have a hazardous material spill and the fire department cannot handle it, this would allow us to call this team in and they would help us mitigate the emergency. Again, there is a kind of a question and answer on that sheet that the president had that I answered to the best of my knowledge. This isn't something that we're buying equipment for. This is just us entering into an agreement where if something happens, train derailment, the trench rescue, if you will, that they will build the village, and then the village itself will use its cost recovery ordinance to build that company or entity that the incident resulted from.
So this is a formality for
Yes,
them
ma'am.
to help us out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep, there's no monetary, we don't pay a fee, there's no really fee.
Forgive me, what's a technical rescue?
So a technical rescue would be something, let's say somebody was digging a basement and the walls collapsed on a worker. And that is a technical rescue. That is equipment that the village does not have. Would not be able to mitigate that. I would call that team in. They would bring in wood and shore it up and bring in excavators and be able to safely extricate that patient from being crushed.
We definitely have a lot of foundations being done.
Do we need a resolution number, Rachel?
That's what I was just looking for. I think we do, because they're resolutions.
Yeah,
Because it says resolutions.
the sample resolution was in there. But yeah, it was a resolution number.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we had to do our own resolution, or we just had to sign this participating agency agreement.
It looks like. we
Yes,
signed
but I don't know if we have to, again, I don't know if we have to sign our own number. I don't know the technicality of what the village wants.
So I'll handle it like this. I'll make a motion that we enter an agreement with Macomb County for the hazmat team service and the, one moment please, technical rescue team service.
Support.
As outlined.
It's been moved and supported that we enter into the agreement with Macomb County Hazmat and Technical Rescue Team Service Agreement. Any further discussion on the motion?
So you said in terms of cost, we would initially front the cost for any services we use from them, and then through our ordinances, recover that cost through whoever violated or...
Yes, sir. And in there was part of it that if we didn't have that agreement, the county would actually charge us more. It'd be like a service fee extra because we did not have that agreement in place prior.
We have a fire recovery in place, so that we can do that.
I exercise that on a fairly regular basis. We were able to recover almost $6,000 last year.
It's been successful with that. All right, it has been properly moved and supported that we enter into this agreement. Roll call, please.
Trustee Bonkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Pacoli?
Yes.
Trustee Stocci?
Yes.
President Dyson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item number H, set a public hearing for general operating millage. This is our annual operating millage that we have to set our public hearing for. Typically, we do it prior to our next month's meeting, so that would be...
June 11th,
Yeah, thank you.
6:30.
6:30?
Yep, June 11th at 6:30. We can have a motion, please.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we have a public hearing for our general operating millage on June 11th at 6:30 p.m. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing no arguments on the date. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Item number I, setting a public hearing for the millage of the fire millage,
6:45.
6:45.
So moved.
Supported. It's been moved and supported that we have our public hearing for the fire millage at 6:45 p.m. on June 11th. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number J, this is a requirement that I have to give a public notice, so I'd just like to read this statement out loud. As required by Eagle, the public is hereby notified of the availability of the Village of New Haven Stormwater Management Plan as posted on the village's website at www.newhaven.org/storm_water_management_plan/index.php. The public is welcome to review and provide any comments as they see fit. Do we need that to be like a receive and file, or is that enough, or?
It's just a public announcement.
Yeah, just a public announcement.
But
Okay.
the state wanted to do that officially.
Okay. All right, so we have that. Item number 10, call from the floor. Call from the floor.
We almost got away. No, just a quick question. So your workshop for the Lions Club, is that open to the public or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And secondly, is you gonna bring that back to the board so the board vote on what you're actually going to do with the club? I mean, I think ever since they purchased the building, it's been sitting there, and I'd just like to see if this board should have, a long time ago, took an initiative to saying what you were going to do with it. And I heard what everyone said, and I think everybody, well, the ones I heard from, was pretty much on the level, but you never said exactly what you're going to do with it. So I'd like to hear that at one meeting or so, and the board vote on it.
Thanks, sir. Any other call from the floor? Seeing none, call from the table.
I just want to thank Melissa McGarry for all her years of service and wish her the best in her retirement.
Sir.
Has there been any movement on the playground at the park? The $1,000 we got sitting out there somewhere.
I have a meeting set up to do the preliminary discussion with her coming up. I want to say it's even this Friday. If it's not this Friday, it's next Friday. Yeah, I think I have a meeting with her this Friday, the initial discussion, and then once I had that discussion with her, and she gives me a copy of the plans, my intention is then to set up a committee meeting with the what was formerly known as the Splash Pad Committee, so that we can move forward with the discussion about the playground to see what we can do.
And I'm assuming that it's the intent to put in the playground as ADA compliant.
Yeah, so I don't think that every structure would be ADA compliant. I don't think that that's such a thing that exists. It would be like you'd have certain structures that would be ADA facilitated, and then there's others that might not be fully ADA. Just the way that the different fixtures are set up.
That's what I'm saying, is that currently we have that retaining wall that's holding wood chips.
Right.
And that's all the new playscapes that I see are just flat. There's no no wood chip, no retaining wall, no.
Right.
That everything is just ground level.
Yeah, and they use like a rubberish mat.
Lennox is
Yeah.
Lennox is beautiful.
Yeah. I told her that.
Yeah.
I told her that Lennox Townships has really gotten a lot of love and a lot of praise. So would like to see something, not a replica, but something similar.
Yeah. Just the ground, it's rubbery,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They it took a while for her to get some preliminary plans together, but we're circling back and having a meeting. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's this Friday. Yes, sir.
Was the wetland study ever completed on that lot next to Amherst?
Yes, good question. I actually did get my email file and did get a plan back. I do need to set up some time with them to better understand. He sent me an updated plan. I'll forward it on to everybody. The updated plan doesn't look like there's any change in the
Designation?
well, no, there's no change in the houses, but it looks like the wetlands overlap with where some of the houses were originally planned. So that's why I need to have a meeting with him to better understand what is it I'm looking at.
And when was the purchase date about? How far?
Yeah, I don't think I realized that there was a plan to put houses, and I thought the ball was in our court on determining whether or not we would have purchased the lot back for $1.
It would only be what we would purchase back for $1 was the unused portion.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
And what was the date for that?
That was 90 days after receipt of the plan. So I just got the plan, whatever day it was you texted me about it.
Day or two ago.
Yeah, a day or two ago. Then I got to meet with him, better understand it, and then we'll bring it to next month's meeting.
Got it.
Any other?
Just one comment.
Yeah.
I think the Frosty Queen must have heard me talking in my sleep. You know, I drove through there the other day and I hit a pothole, and I think my jaw is still trying to recover. And I drove by today and I'm like, oh my God.
They're closed.
They were closed today.
So I see they got a brand new parking lot. Boy, that is so nice.
They're closed today.
Yeah, they, we did get word that they were doing the maintenance to the parking lot today, and I drove past, I think it was about 1:30, and they already had half of it done. I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's all done now.
It's done.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna strike it and whatnot.
Are they gonna open for walk-up?
Yes.
That's what they need to do.
They posted on Facebook that they're gonna open for walk-up.
And are they gonna
this
fix their
month.
speaker, the intercom?
Because it's a little dangerous with everybody lying down crashing.
I know.
Oh, wow, I know. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
If I can't get off Gratiot, I just keep on going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, any other, call from the table? Yes, sir. Motion's in order.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we close the meeting at 7:57. All in favor?
Aye.